Cadwork 3D and 2D, there is a way for you to actually back up your file, and here are some small tips to be able to use these backups and even recover the file if your backup are no longer either available, have been erased, or even corrupted. So if we were here to create a file, so new 3D, give it a name, and before creating the file, let's go here to setup and backups. These are the default settings that you have available when you first install Cadwork, and the idea is when you first create a file or you open a file, you will always have a startup backup. This backup is actually a copy of your file at the time of its opening. So if it's a new file, it's actually a copy of the init, and each time you will reopen an existing file, this is simply a copy of your file before you start working on it that day. You have then security copies, also known as backups, that will be automatically generated each time you save, either with the automatic save, that will be prompted here every 15 minutes. As soon as you say yes and a new file is saved, a backup is generated. In this first field, you will be able to tell how many backups should be kept for one specific project or one file with a specific name, how many of the backups you want to keep. By default, we have 3, meaning that when you first start working in a project, first saved occurs after 15 minutes, then a second one at 30 minutes, 45 minutes will be the third one, and when times come for the fourth save to occurs after 1 hour of work, it will actually replace backup number 1, so your first saved, and so on and so forth. These backups are by default located in the current folder where your file has been saved, in a folder called backup. So let's keep here all the default setting, and actually we don't want to auto-save without query in this case, even though we might not see the prompt. So here we are going to select this init, so init inches, name the file, and OK. As soon as the file has been generated, it will of course be available here, and here we have the backup file, and this is the back file or the startup backup that has been generated. You will see that to differentiate start backup and security copies, you will be able to use the icon which is not the same for each one. Also, the extension is not the same, but let's continue. So now, if I would like to add some project in here, let's add one of the variants we have. Add variant, and let's add a complete timber frame. So now that we have added and do some modification in the file, you can see here at the top that there is an asterisk next to the name. This means that there is currently unsaved changes in this file. So if I save, either I wait for the prompt, or if I simply go to File, Save, or use the shortcut Ctrl S, the file is saved, and here in the backup, you see that the first backup has been added. If I save a second time, a second backup is made. If there has been a mistake in the file and you want to go back to the previous version, what you can do is simply double click on the backup file, and it will let you know, of course, that the file you are trying to open is a security copy, and to be able to use it, you simply need to say yes. Here it does not really reopen this file, but simply allows you to create a copy of this file at any location. Simply give it a name and save. And the file will then be open. That's how backups can be used. you cannot actually open a start backup the same way. If you double click on this file, do you want to rename it now? Yep. And it will directly change the name to go back to a 3D. So this is not a, as the other one, a copy of the backup that will be renamed, as we've seen here, but you actually lose the start backup to replace it by a current 3D file that you can then open and start using as usual. Among the other options you have for the backups, there is something that I would recommend if your files are saved on a server or even on a cloud. The thing is, when you open a Cadwork file, you don't actually open the file you click on, but this file is actually copied and open in the temp folder of your computer. So each time you save, you basically copy this temp file to the location where the file is actually saved. So if after the save you lose the connection with the server, the file that you actually upload might be corrupted, simply because you might actually lose part of the data and you won't be able to actually reopen the file. So the 3D and the backups if they are also saved at the same location. So in this case, a warning message will let you know that this file is corrupted and you should call for support. In order to avoid this and make sure that even though your file will be uploaded on the server, that the backup are actually saved locally. To do so, what you can use is this option here to change the backup folder, and here, for example, to set it at a specific location on your computer. So here by default, this new location will be in your document in Cadwork Backup. So now all my backups for every project will be saved at one specific location, unlike the other options where we will have one backup folder per Cadwork file location. So for every of your project, if they are placed in a different location on your computer, you will have each time one backup folder as we have here for every single location. But now, by doing this, it actually allows you to combine everything at one single location. So let's check here how this will be organized. So all of your backup will be saved in here, of course. And you can also add the option with daily subfolder. And for every day, every single day, you will have all your backup and start file backup saved at that location. So this means that if you use the daily subfolder, you don't have only 3 backup per file, but you end up with 3 backup per day. So this means that, of course, you might actually result in a larger backup folder than usual. The thing is, you will notice as soon as it gets too big, after 20 gig, you will be prompt. You will be notified when first starting a file that the backup folder start to becomes a bit too large, and will let you know either to delete the backup yourself or we do it by itself and remove all backups older than 3 months. So this is it for the backups. But what happens if, as we said earlier, all of the backup have been lost, your 3D has been corrupted, or you cannot maybe even find it on your computer for whatever reason? You will be able actually to retrieve any Cadwork file open on your computer. If you go to your app data, so percentage app data, percentage, okay. So here in the app data, you will actually go back once here to go to local, find the Cadwork directory, and here you will see that you will have one folder per file type, so 2D, 3D, and list. And if you open this one, you will have here all the file you've been working on. And here, as you can see, you have like a 3D file with a GUID name, so it can be hard to know exactly what this is about. but this is the file you can actually recover. So this is the file that you can copy to use again. But to make sure that which file it was, you can simply, here I'm going to do it for the one we have open at the moment, simply open the back text file of the same name. This will give you the exact location and name of the file that you have. So like this, you can actually come and look for the file you would like to try to recover. So now we are pretty much sure that this is the one we were working on. So we could retrieve this one. So simply by copying it and copy it back at the old location, and now you will be able to actually reuse your file. So this is it for file recovering. I hope this will be a great help for you when you need it. But feel free always to contact us if you have any issue of that sort. Thank you for watching.